Mos Eisley Spaceport. Never shalt thou find a hive more rank and wretched aye and filled with villainy. Oh, hey there. It's your friendly neighborhood idiot here, just reading some Star Wars Shakespeare. I didn't really know how to start off this video, so this is what you're getting. Deal with it. So my Stranger Things review went pretty well. A lot of people seem to really like it, and a lot of people actually watched the show after I recommended it, which... You guys actually listened to this idiot? He looks like he's never had a date in his entire life. So I thought since that went really well, and since Marvel's Luke Cage is coming out at the end of the month...
Doing the people! Oh! Oh! He needs some milk!
So I thought, what better way to start off a new series of videos than talking about the two other Marvel shows that are available right now on Netflix. So without further ado, here's why Marvel's Daredevil and Jessica Jones are the best things ever. So Daredevil tells the story of Matt Murdock, a man who at a young age had radioactive residue dumped on him, leading him to lose his sight while also enhancing his other senses. With these new powers, Matt Murdock is a blind lawyer by day and an equally blind lawyer by night. And then we have Jessica Jones, which tells the story of Jessica Jones. She's a tough-as-nails private detective with the ability of super strength, but she also suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and alcoholism after an encounter with a powerful enemy. Now, I completely believe that these two shows are the greatest superhero shows ever to be created. And I'm about to tell you nerds why. The guy talking to you about superhero shows is telling you nerds why. Okay. Alright, so this may seem like a small thing, but the intros for both of these shows are awesome. The intros for Daredevil and Jessica Jones are very stylistic, have great music, and perfectly set up the tone for the rest of the show. Those are pretty much the three main things you need to make a good opening intro, and these shows totally nail it. So yes, technically these shows are TVMA, but they're not really. I think the producers for the show described it best when they said that the show is pretty much PG-16. So it's heavier than your average PG-13, but it's not quite as heavy as the stuff you'd see in a typical rated R film. But that dark maturity really is what sets these shows apart from the other Marvel films. Oh yeah, did I mention? These shows actually take place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, meaning the same universe as the Avengers films. But this is not the family-friendly superhero franchise that you might be expecting. These shows are dark, serious, and gritty, and it'll make you feel a little bit uncomfortable at times. And it's awesome! You know how The Dark Knight felt more like an action drama and not really a superhero movie? Well, Daredevil and Jessica Jones feel more like crime noirs than just superhero TV shows. The dark tone also makes this world feel surprisingly alive and full of personality. It also makes it feel real, like you're in a real actual city and not just a place in a comic book. Trust me, when you see what these characters go through, you will forget almost immediately that this takes place in the exact same universe where a talking raccoon exists. It also gives you the sense that this world has consequences, like these characters could die at any moment or have really horrible things happen to them. And that's a quality that the other Marvel films tend to really lack. That is exactly how you do dark superhero stories. They're dark and engaging, not boring and depressing. So when I heard about the casting choices for the two main characters of these shows, I was a little bit skeptical. I mean, that kid from Stardust as the gruff and tough Daredevil? I don't know. But that's just further proof that I'm an idiot because Charlie Cox is perfect as Daredevil. If you're not familiar with Daredevil, or you had the extreme misfortune of seeing the Ben Affleck movie, Daredevil's personality is very similar to Batman's.
Wait a minute!
He's tough enough for you to be able to take him seriously, but he also has a bit of charm to him that prevents him from getting boring. Overall, he's pretty much everything a protagonist should be. I had a similar reaction to the casting of Jessica Jones. Kristen Ritter normally stuck to comedic performances before this, so I wasn't sure if she'd be able to handle a more serious role. But again, I'm an idiot. She's stellar as well. She has a bit more of a comedic edge than Matt Murdock, but she's been through some serious stuff. So obviously the most important part of a superhero show are the actual superheroes, and these two are absolutely great. I love them. So I'm gonna ask you, the viewer, what do you think is the weakest part of the more recent Marvel movies? Is it A, the villains, B, the villains, C, the villains, or D, Iron Man 3? If you guessed D, you'd be correct, but the villains are still pretty terrible.
I thought my jokes were bad.
You got Loki, Ultron, and kinda sorta Thanos. That's it. All the other villains are awful. They're boring, they're forgettable, they're not scary, they suck.
To rejoice and renounce your paltry gods. Boo, you suck!
So I can't say I had very high expectations for the villains of Daredevil or Jessica Jones, but I was absolutely blown away by the performances of the two main villains. Let's start off with Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. You may also know him as the Edgar suit from Men in Black.
Like a suit. Edgar suit.
When we're first introduced to this character, I didn't really know what to think of him. I was kind of thinking, this is it? This is our intimidating, scary villain? But then the more I watched him, the more I learned about his backstory, and the more I saw him do evil, horrible things, the more I realized, oh my gosh, this character is genius!
Get out.
Sir, if there's anything I can bring...
Get out!
This is a character who you're really able to sympathize with. I was not expecting that at all. And it's mainly thanks to Vincent D'Onofrio's performance. I mean, he seriously deserved an Emmy for this. The character is just so well developed, and that's the great thing about TV shows. You have so much more time to develop each individual character. This way the villain feels just as important as the hero, and that's great! After watching Daredevil, I thought Wilson Fisk was one of the best Marvel villains ever. And then I watched Jessica Jones, where I was introduced to Kilgrave, played by David Tennant. You may know him as Doctor Who and that guy who was in Harry Potter for 2 seconds. I really liked Wilson Fisk because he felt like a very complex character. Kilgrave is a very complex character, but he's also absolutely terrifying. He's just so slimy and despicable and creepy. I've always thought David Tennant was kind of an overactor, and he still kind of is here, but it just works so well for this character. The best part about him is his superpower, which isn't exactly mind control, but it's more of when he tells you to do something, you have to do it. So if he tells you to rob a bank, you have to do it. If he tells you to take your clothes off, you have to do it. You just have to do it, but you're totally self-aware of what you're doing, and you don't want to do it, but you still just have to.
Hey, I said this isn't a library.
Pick up that coffee. Throw it in your face.
It is such a clever and unique and fascinating ability that I've never seen in a show or movie before. That's another thing I should probably mention too. The way superpowers are used in these shows is incredible. You can tell that these characters are very used to these abilities and that they know how to use them. Kilgrave uses them for absolute evil, but he steals pretty much every scene he's in. So finally, we have a Marvel thing that isn't an Avengers movie that has good villains. I also really want to talk about this guy. I know he's not technically a villain, but he is an antagonist for a good portion of Daredevil Season 2, and that's the Punisher. Now, the Punisher has been in movies before, but it hasn't exactly gone well. They're all pretty fun, entertaining, silly movies, but you can never really take them seriously. The Punisher in Daredevil Season 2 is without a doubt the best interpretation of the Punisher I've ever seen. Jon Bernthal, who plays Shane in The Walking Dead, also gives an absolutely incredible performance. His role was actually really dialogue heavy. He has a lot of really long monologues, but they're fantastic. He pulls them off brilliantly. The Punisher in this show was so good that Netflix and Marvel are now planning a Punisher standalone TV show. I really can't praise the show's version of the Punisher enough. It's just absolutely great. The villains in all of these shows are great. I love them to death. Well, I guess love to hate. They're all pretty horrible people, but you get the idea. I can go on for days about how well written and well acted this show is.
She wore princess dresses with high tops.
Really? I can't get her to wear a dress for the life of me.
I'll wear one to your funeral.
No.
The dialogue in the show makes you feel like you're watching like a play, like a really awesome superhero play. That sounds amazing. Why has no one done that? Oh. There are so many great moments that just flesh out the characters. There are multiple monologues like the one with the Punisher in a graveyard as well as Daredevil in a confessional. But one scene in particular really stands out, and it's from Daredevil Season 2. Without spoiling anything, it's a scene where Daredevil and the Punisher are having this argument on a rooftop, and it feels like a real argument. Again, no spoilers, but it is exactly what I wanted from Batman v Superman that I didn't get. In many ways, Daredevil is a better Batman than Batman.
Wait a minute!
I don't want to go into too much more detail because I want you guys to watch the show and experience it for yourself, but just know that this show really is really well written. Normally when you have such good writing, you think it would just focus on that and the action would fall flat a little bit. No. No. Jessica Jones has really good action scenes overall, but the action in Daredevil, oh my gosh, it is so good. They remind me a lot of the Arkham Batman games where she's just going from guy to guy and just messing people up and totally brutalizing them.
Wait a minute!
It's a lot like that, and two scenes in particular really stand out. The first scene is in Season 1 and it takes place in this cramped hallway, and he's going from room to room and fighting these guys, but it's all done in one take. They went full Birdman, which is an amazing movie and you absolutely should go watch it because it's an absolutely incredible movie. It's one of the best movies ever made, go watch it. And actually filmed this entire action scene with no edits and no cuts, nothing like that, all in one take. I thought it was really cool until they topped it in Season 2. Here, he's also in a highway fighting a bunch of bikers, except this time he's got a chain and he goes down a stairwell. It is so unbelievable amounts of cool. I love this show. Why is no one watching it? It's amazing. What are you still doing here? Go watch it. You're not listening to whatever class you're watching right now. Just go on your computer and type in Daredevil. There you go. You did it. Watch it. Bruh, I got pop figures. That is how lit this show is, fam. Saw, dude. Oh my gosh, I went full cringe mode there. If you want to watch it chronologically, it's Daredevil Season 1, Jessica Jones Season 1, and then Daredevil Season 2, with Luke Cage Season 1 coming up soon. They're expertly written, expertly acted, expertly directed, and I can't recommend them enough. Go watch them. Okay, that was a long one. That's all I got. I'm Aiden and I like movies, or in this case a TV show, or 2 TV shows. See you guys later.